Good morning. My name is Michael Lee. I am one of the candidates for mayor in this year's city elections. For several weeks now, I have been an active participant within a series of homeless protests entitled Snub by the Hub for Tour 2016. Excuse me, I have a very slight cold behind it. This tour was initiated by First They Came for the Homeless at the request of Commissioner Dan McMullen. Commissioner McMullen came to First They Came for the Homeless and explained that several of his clients were being denied services from the Hub, which is a centralized entry services system that City Council created last year. Actually, it was this year at the cost currently of $1.1 million. Commissioner McMullen shared his concern that severely disabled elderly people were being turned back on the streets without any type of emergency shelter or any kind of housing except the doorway here on Shattuck Avenue. In response to McMullen's request, First They Came for the Homeless initiated this tour by occupying their space in front of the Hub. In the past 5 weeks, we have been evicted 5 different times at a cost of each incident is approximately $30,000. This comes on the heel of my being exonerated of 2 counts of 647E, the anti-lodging law, which is commonly used against homeless people to deny them sleep in violation of their Eighth Amendment rights. In my trial, in the first count, there was a hung jury. The prosecution indicated they would be refiling that charge. As of this date, they have not done so. In the second count, related to the July 2nd occupation of Old City Hall, I was found not guilty. So what the city has done right now is they've spent approximately $150,000 to continually chase homeless people on this current tour. They spent approximately $60,000 failing to prosecute me for simply protesting via occupation. This is on top of the money that they spent for Liberty City, both of them wanted to. What we're looking at now is we estimate approximately $250,000 that First They Came for the Homeless has cost the city of Berkeley. Earlier this week, in response to the occupation at Fairview and Adeline, an ad hoc committee was formed to talk about homeless services, specifically a response to the intentional community here in South Berkeley. Out of that ad hoc committee, First It Came for the Homeless, and several community members met with approximately 30 staff members and 4 city council people. It was our understanding that they were serious about trying to establish a legal encampment to use that as a pilot project as a response to the emergency shelter crisis resolution, which was passed earlier this year. We went into that meeting full of hope, shared a lot of information, and our track record of having problem-free intentional communities. There are always problems. Nothing is ever 100% perfect, but we're as close to as perfect as possible. Last night, City Council, based on lies and innuendos, denied us any type of legal encampment, specifically at south of Aquatic Park. They continually said that there was complaints, which are two complaints versus approximately 60 supportive emails and phone calls. That's 30 to 1. So obviously we have the support of the community. The community's been out there making sure that we have the necessary material aid to be able to heal and feed people and to keep ourselves alive. City Council turned around and they decided that they are going to continue enforcement of 647E. In other words, they're willing to continue to chase us. My response to that is that my campaign is committed to maintaining our participation within that. We are going this morning to be asking our supporters to sit down and meet with us to see what else we can do besides simple participation and simply talking about homelessness. Because it has been our main plank that the solution to homelessness is very simple, very common sense. I am the individual that initiated the tiny homes conversation. I am also the individual that has placed two proposals before City Council that would absolutely reduce the homeless population by 20%. This council, and especially my opponents, continually say they want to end homelessness but do absolutely nothing. Thus, the reason for this current tour, which we, from my campaign, are going to continue to participate in, and we're going to escalate it. We are absolutely going to think of ways to continually escalate it. If you want to chase this, then you're going to have to chase this very, very hard. It has always been my position, unlike my opponents, that homeless people, left to their own devices, can take care of themselves until we find housing that they can all afford, until we get enough shelter beds, to put our most vulnerable homeless people in. But the thing of it is that my opponents, specifically as members of City Council, absolutely refuse to develop the political will or the political insight and the absolute willingness to absolutely listen to the community, which is coming up with some wonderful ideas on how we start to mitigate this problem. The media in itself has been woefully neglectful in the fact of the matter that it does not question the 53% upswing in homelessness. It does not question the fact of the matter that BPD is currently spending 50% of its time dealing with homeless issues. My campaign once again says that it is time for us to absolutely stop spinning our wheels and to start to pick up some common sense solutions and start to get some people off the street. We cannot continue to have Berkeley looking like Biafra. It's not acceptable to us. It never has been for the last 7 months on this campaign trail. We have continually said that there are common sense solutions, and we have proposed that. My opponents continually say they want to end homelessness with a housing first solution, which is 5 years down the road. My question again is what do we do in the meantime? In the meantime, we absolutely must, deal with this problem. We are asking all of our supporters this morning to please sit down with us to start to come up with ideas and strategies on how we actually convince the city council of this crisis, which they totally recognize but refuse to do anything about. We need to actually start to build a better community response at this. From the barricades, take care. We'll speak with you soon.